We are live, ma.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, Sushma, you can dive right in. Please start.
Thanks, David. So I'll welcome all of you to this session where we are going to talk about customer centricity in terms of enterprise, in terms of new businesses, and with a great experience in software industry, I would also like to share how new products or softwares are designed with that thought of being beneficial to the end users. So before we dive in, I would like to give a brief introduction about myself. I am Ushma Nair, and I work as a project manager at Encora Inc. So I have a diverse experience in working with customer relation, project management, and implementing a lot of products in using Agile methodology and delivering high quality products to various consumer market. So I have closely worked with a lot of products in terms of a startup organization where they first focus on MVP, that is most minimum viable product, which they would deliver and see the live consumer feedback, and then going to a strategic development and evolving it through a very much established in the industry wide. So for an agenda for today, we would first discuss about the customer-centric culture, where what is it, why is it important for business, that we'll be exploring. Then we'll look into the 4 C's of customer service and benefits of being agile. The last segment would be talking about customer-centric companies, which has delivered back-to-back best releases in their products and captured the consumer market. And fifth would be a conclusion on what a market study says, and would be happy to address any of your questions and answers post this session. So let us dive into the section 1 of today's session, understanding the mindset, or what is a customer-centric culture. As you all know, like customers are the ultimate beneficiaries of any product or any software. As I mentioned, I come from a software background, so I may give you more examples of a software. So a value of business solution is driven by the consumer market. So it is a mindset where we focus on what would be beneficial for the consumers and focus on creating a positive experience with them. So what we have to understand first is, as it focuses on end users' benefit, there is a lot of thought put in behind that product development. There is a research done and a feasibility study done before we go into building any product. So there comes an approach which we call it need-based identification approach. It focuses on building a whole product. It would first think about immediate benefit that the consumer gets from the product, as well as it will also focus on a long-term benefit, because for any product to be successful in market, it needs an immediate reaction from the consumer, as well as a long-term trust from the consumers to rebuy the products that you are offering them. So building a solution based on need identification of consumers involves research that would drive a product strategy, and it would also involve a design thinking that would drive the product roadmap. There are two concepts in any product development. One is defining what would be the product strategy, how we would be targeting the market, and then how we will design it such that the consumer is able to use it or consume it in a possible easy manner. Because if we would give any complex solution to any customer, they would be hesitant to first try it on. So if we will go with an approachable mindset that, okay, this is much more easier, it will reduce your workload, it would be time saving, the consumers will also think that, yes, I should give it a try. So that is the first step where we identify a solutions need and the consumers look area. Coming to the next point, empathetic design approach. It is, as I mentioned, like this research and design thinking is a continuous process. It is not a one-day task or anything that we have just come up with an idea or just implement it and then deliver. So an empathetic design approach here means it involves a thought process that needs to be put in. It involves aesthetic as well as emotional need of a consumer. Some markets also have ergonomic needs. For example, if we take an chair, if we are taking chair as a product, then the position of a chair, the feature it has, like if the seat is adjustable, the handrest is adjustable, back is well supported. So these are all ergonomic needs that will make consumer attract towards that product for you. So that is an empathetic design approach which we put in before even implementing a chair. So this kind of involvement, these are the product attributes which are not asked by any consumer. They won't come and tell you that, okay, these are the things that I want. Let's say you go and buy a car. You won't be thinking, or you won't be first asking a question, okay, how long, what is the long-term benefit of using this car? If you are buying any mobile, you won't be thinking, okay, will it work for 10-12 years? So that is not a mindset where consumers come in. But yes, things like performance, security, and compliance, these are all the benefits that consumer do not ask, but they are essential for any product to be there in the market. So these are all points that we think through, and it would give us an empathetic approach when we go actually to build that product. Understanding how this product will deliver a value, that also brings in a value driven approach for market. If we don't understand the customer's value, or we don't deliver what they are looking for, then they might use a product for once or twice and then they will go for some other options in the market, because in this competitive market they have multiple options to choose from for any product. So a value driven approach and the company's values also matter here, not just for product, but if a company is stating that, okay, our value is to satisfy our consumer first, that will build a trust from the consumers to the enterprise that is offering a solution. And understanding how this product will also impact the nearby of the consumer. For example, we give out a product for a usage and then see that once the consumer is benefited, people surrounding them will also have ripple effect of that benefit. So this kind of approach or a mindset will bring in a repetitive consumer as well as will give us a referral for broader market. And in terms of software, as I was talking about, we think a software architecture ensures that the software is long running, is maintainable, we can support it for a higher, broader vision. That is the strong foundation that will deliver a better response from consumer market. Now, coming to the topic of understanding the degree of customer engagement. In market, if we see around, there are generic solution as well as specific solution. So end user would focus some consumers would focus on generic solution. If, for example, we will talk about in software, we will call a CRM system. So a CRM system would be something which is built out with a generic approach. Okay, this is a software we will use to get customer data. We will manage the customer data. We could get customer feedback. That is a generic solution, which people may buy, may not buy. But when you are going out and building a custom solution, that is very much specific to consumer need. So before even going into a depth of building a product, we have to study or understand which target market are we focusing on. If it is going to be custom solution, for example, a defense mechanism for any country, they won't be sharing this very critical information with the other countries. So those solutions are very much in place for high security. The solution cannot be sold to multiple customers. So we need to first identify whether we are targeting a generic market or a custom market. Both has its own benefits. So if we go on a generic consumption, then we will get an idea about how our assumption would be reactive by the market, how consumers, this is the age group, maybe they will be highly responsible or highly proactive in giving a response for this type of product. That is a generic approach, whereas custom approach, we'll be interacting with the consumer directly. We will focus on their needs, what they want from particular solution, and make it customized according to the requirement. A good example, or I would say clothing. Clothing comes off in the market with various sizes. So if an organization targets to produce t-shirts, so they will produce a generic size, medium, large, XL, and so on. But if we go to customized designer, so what they will think, they will first focus on your body type, they will focus on your needs, they will ask you your preferences, and then help you with a custom made solution. So that is how each different enterprise has to first evaluate what type of product are they planning to launch, and put a thought behind how we will be evolving this product and which would be our target market. Coming to the whole product concept. So as I mentioned earlier, whole product ensures a short-term as well as long-term benefit to consumer. I would like to quote here an example of a dishwasher. So there are few stages for any product as part of evolvement, I would say. First of all, any enterprise would focus on a generic product, which is called an MVP. If I'm manufacturing a dishwasher. For me, a generic approach or a general product, MVP product would consume, okay, I want a dishwasher. It would be working for home needs and for maybe hotel needs. So those are the MVP products, features that I would first put in my dishwasher as a manufacturer. Coming to the second phase of product, when we call a whole product thinking, there are various phases into it. The sector after MVP, we can call it as expected product. For example, there are consumers, we go to mall, even we ourselves are shopping, what we will look for. Am I looking for a simple dishwasher that works for my home, or am I looking for a dishwasher which has multiple cycles? Maybe it has a delayed execution of time that I could customize based on my need. So these are the expected product outcome, that okay, I am going to buy it and with an expectation that I need these features to be there in the dishwasher. So that would be any product. This would undergo a second stage after MVP. Third stage, I would say, since with a lot of augmented reality coming into picture, we might evolve that product and provide a control to a dishwasher through mobile app. That is for a convenience of a consumer. Now the consumer target would change when we go to this augmented stage. MVP was for the generic market. Now everybody won't come into market and come and buy a dishwasher with mobile app. If the consumer is from the age group of particular, let's say 20 to 30, they will be, they would be enthusiastic about having a product. Okay, I can operate it through my mobile app. It would be convenient for me to buy. So that we will call it as an augmented phase of any product. And then comes in a potential product, which is far more sustainable, which would be used for a longer run. For example, as a manufacturer, if we take same example of dishwasher, I sell out a dishwasher, and then whenever a new part is added, or maybe there is an extended warranty that the manufacturer offers, that is the potential support or long-term sustainability plan that any manufacturer would be thinking of, because they just don't want to sell a dishwasher and then go away from the consumer's mind. They want them to be updated. They would like to post software updates probably in the dishwasher, or they would like to inform that, okay, we have some new hardware launched, and it would be efficient if you replace your older hardware with some kind of discount, a coupon code that will give a trust from consumer. Okay, I would like to upgrade myself, but with an add-on benefit because I am being their consumer since this much past time. So this kind of an interaction with consumer gives us a relativity, and we feel related to that product as well as to the organization which is providing the service. Similarly, for a service provider industry, as I was talking about mainly from a product standpoint, this even applies to any service provider industry. Here, when we are offering services, example, the quality of service or the frequency of adapting feedback. So these are the characteristics that consumer would love to come back and retake the services that are offered by any organization. So this is how a mindset shift should be built. And then once we get into the customer centric mindset, it would give us a long-term solution and long-term business profitability. Coming to the next point, why is it important for businesses? Knowing where customer centric culture excels. As we were focusing on why should we build such business that would be thinking about consumers' long-term relationship. Here are a few reasons why, not just earlier market, but post-COVID also, there is a boom in startup industry, or we can say online platforms, where anything could be sold online. Social media has been given a great advantage for consumer to reach to the direct seller. We also use multiple FMCG platforms, which gives us offers or which gives us more benefit. So why is it important for business to focus on customer centricity? Any approach, like any profitable business, will first think that by co-creating or evolving products and service with consumer will give them a better product strategy. It will also reduce their research time and give them live feedback from the consumer themselves. And it helps in creating purposeful business for any service provider and consumer. So why purposeful? Because the initial thought behind any product development might be different, and as time goes by, the market need changes. So this kind of changes are important for any organization to adapt and quickly evolve based on the customer's need. I would like to quote few very good businesses here. We saw a boom during particularly COVID phase, where products like medical industries were offering masks. So initially it was an essential product. Without mask, we couldn't go out. But then the same industry quickly evolved to a phase where different designs of masks were launched, right? So to the consumers who are wanting to have some customization in their mask were delighted. And that is how a mask as a product was evolved. Initially, there weren't any customized masks. If we think about 5 years ago, we never thought that, okay, we will wear masks someday and we will customize things on it. Like we can customize our name. So that now then turned into a trend. So a business which adapted that trend made a lot of profit in that short term period. So that is how anything that was immediately responded by consumer as well as adapted by business gave a larger audience, or they saw a better feedback and they adapted to it. Coming to the emphasis on tailor-made experience versus material consumption. Again, like tailor-made experiences, I would like to quote, travel is a very good industry that we have recently seen a phase where initially, like if we go a decade or 2 decades before, we used to travel with a defined packages in it. We used to think about, okay, if I'm going to this place, then these are the 5 things that I would like to see because that is what the general crowd sees. So that was a thought process where a material consumption was done based on the preset requirement. People used to just visit those places and they say, okay, from my bucket list, this is ticked if I see this 5 places. The same travel industry has evolved to a customized experience. There are a lot of travel agencies which offer customized travel plans based on the need of consumer. They feel happy to go to consumer, they feel happy to reach out to their needs individually and say that, okay, you would like to stay in a villa for a day, or you would like to stay in a hotel for a day. We can customize entire travel plan and we would give you your choice and you could efficiently enjoy the travel based on the customized need. So that is one of the industries where we have saw a win-win situation for the provider and for the consumers. Those who love these customized experiences, they get their most benefit. They don't have to do their own research in it. So that is one of the industry we have seen a long, like customized needs importance and how it has evolved the plans for every travel consumer. Second, I would like to quote a customized solution that has seen a boom recently. For example, AI is a recent implementation that every product wants to go through. So AI-based chat support in any web application that you browse today, you will always see a chat support below and it will say, hi, can I help you? Any personalized name would be given. So that kind of support, if we look at 5 to 10 years back, web application did not have such AI based support. But with the evolving market, with the consumer needs, it has changed and a chatbot is now becoming gradually an important feature for any web application. Why? Because they want to capture their audience interest. As soon as someone is visiting my site, I would like them to give an importance about if they want any assistance. We could guide them through the platform navigation and it would capture the audience for a longer duration. So these are all multiple industries which have evolved by putting a thought behind the consumer's need. And it in turn generates a sustainable culture, which we could say that, consumers who are likely to be appreciated by the product or service provider, they would go back and request for more services. So this is how in turn any business who is offering the service will get a profitability. And the referral programs also these days are very much in trend, where referrals are giving the bonus to the consumer as well as to the people whom they refer. Coupon codes are in trend. So this industry is now gaining the consumer feedback as well as putting in benefits for the consumer so that they get a long-term relationship, which will give them in turn a profitable business. We would be now focusing on the customer service 4Cs. I would say why these 4Cs are important in delivering or becoming a champion in customer service. The more we become proficient as a product or service provider, the more consumers would be eager to know what products are being launched. First is a customer experience. For any customer oriented product or a service, experience is the first step to give them a wow factor. Why would I buy a phone if it is not giving me a smoother slide, or touchscreen has become like mandate for all the phones? So if it isn't giving me smoother slide, or I'm not able to call anyone quickly, then that consumer or customer experience would not give them repetitive benefit, right? So that is the first customer experience. As we also discussed about travel, clothes, these are all various industries where experience is given the first importance. The higher consumer feels satisfied, they will be giving you a relative feedback. Having a conversation, we recently talked about the AI chatbot. Many web applications are trying to have a conversation with customers so that they can understand the thought put behind the customer to come to your web platform. Why have they browsed the website? Why are they coming, or what information are they looking on? Especially if the AI chatbot keeps the customer engrossed, right? If they ask me questions and I'm willing to answer, okay, no, I'm looking for this, it will again ask me, do you want particular this information or this information? So it would keep me engaged for a longer time, and that conversation will increase their product or product selling ability. Third is we talk about the content. Of course, content is the king now in the social media world. Like almost half of the population is focusing on creating quality content as well as engaging content. So content is the king in the current market, and the unique content you create, that will be having a higher USP. And fourth is the collaboration. So even if we talk about in terms of Instagram, so why people collaborate with each other? Because they want to deliver good content, and with the collaboration, they get larger audience, I would say. So the number of views in turn increases, and the profitability of content provider would gradually increase. So these are the 4 C's that we look into. Any business or any enterprise that is looking for a long-term profitability has to master these 4 key C combinations and dive into the market that will give them a long-term sustainable business. Moving on to maximizing the potential. So here I would like to quote benefits of being agile. In the agile world, we have a phase called early feedback. So in the trending market, we definitely rely on feedback. Any service that you take, rate us or provide us feedback is the first thing that comes to us after we consume their service or product. So that feedback is helpful for any product to identify its product roadmap. The more feedback are analyzed, various tools are used in market to analyze this feedback, like Google Analytics and Power BI. So these feedback gives a business or an enterprise an idea about what the consumers are thinking, and what are the drawbacks do they see, and what are the positive feedback or positive input from them. Based on that feedback session, they could go on modify their product early and deliver any upgraded version to it. We do see a lot of software updates happening in the market, right? So why are these updates coming in? Because there would be some drawback, or there would be some positive features added which they would like to deliver to consumer market directly. Because the more consumer use the feedback that they give, it will help business understand, okay, yes, my target audience is looking for this feature, and it would be beneficial if we go in and deliver this feature through the software. Agility does not talk about, always changing requirement. It mainly talks about, with the changing time, the changing needs, we should adapt those changes and deliver it to consumer. I would like to also quote increasing customer satisfaction, as we discussed as the 4 important C's of consumer market. And satisfied customer will give you repetitive business, right? So any consumer who is happy with the product that they use, they will share a positive feedback, and in turn they would also share it with their near and dear ones. So that gives us a market reach which is not necessarily derived by the marketing campaigns. This is a word to mouth selling. We have not told a customer, okay, go and tell your near ones, but they were so much satisfied that they could not stop speaking about it. So that kind of customer relation gives us a profitable business. And reducing risk, right? If we give beta products are launched in market, if we deploy or deliver things in the market and take a feedback, it would also reduce the risk of any assumption that we took. If we assume that, okay, this product is going to have a boom and I'll be preparing it for 1 year, then delivering it into the market. But in that 1 year time, the need may change and the entire vision may collapse due to some other competitive brand. So this being agile or giving it to market early on will also reduce the risk of failure with that product or service. And agile principle talks about smaller iteration, or we would say an iterative delivery for any product. This iterations gives a team manageable and flexible scope for building. So if we talk about smaller delivery iteration, we could specifically focus on software needs. If the product building mechanism is having a phase, let's say we talk about 2 week, then in every 2 week or every month, if there are various changes, then the product team who is building the product will also think through with their testing group and talk about it. Okay, we have built this feature. Do you think this would be important for the consumer in the market? So that if the decision is no, immediately they won't lose a longer time. They can immediately come back and say, okay, whatever we built in this 2 weeks, let's modify because our consumer market is not receptive to what we have built. So this in turn gives the flexibility to product team and reduce the risk of failure. And empowering the product team. So everybody who works on any product in an agile manner has a sense of ownership in it. The principle talks about having charge of whatever work we do. So team is encouraged and collaboratively do the task, or they build the product and they collectively discuss about any roadblock. So the more they work in an agile world, they talk to each other, the more they bring in or adapt the feedback. It empowers entire product team focus on that particular product, and any roadblock if discussed with the product team, they could find out alternative ways, or they could think about how in a better approach can we work for this particular feature. So it gives ability of design thinking to entire team, not just the team who is owning the product, but also to the team who is building it for them. Knowing how to benchmark. So here I have quoted few customer-centric companies who take their consumers very seriously and they build through a custom approach, and it has given them a larger audience and a long-term business partners. Some of them might not be here in the list, but this is what I could come up with for today's session. And Lego, as I have quoted as a top one here. So for Lego, I would like to quote a very good campaign that they had launched, particularly during the pandemic COVID phase. They had launched a campaign called Let's Build Together. At that time when people were at home playing Legos with their family, so Let's Build Together was a gaming feature where a Lego consumer could buy in products, or they could upload a gaming strategy that they used within the family. So this gave a very close interaction with the consumer, as well as they were able to identify how multiple uses of Lego are going into the family and they are building an enthusiastic environment. And this strategy of let's build together gave almost a 14% profitable business in the first quarter of 2020 to Lego. So this was one of the very successful campaign launched by them, and it was purely focusing on consumers experience. It did not have any product modification. It was not focused on any new product launch, but how or what are the ways different consumer are enjoying the Lego blocks. So that is one of the benchmark companies, I would say, that focuses on the customer centric approach. Second is Starbucks. This symbol is very much relative to everybody in today's world. So if you buy a cup of coffee, what Starbucks does, they put your name on it. So that is a personalized experience or a custom experience that they give you. What you feel as a consumer is, yes, this is my cup of coffee. It is tailored for my needs. So that is how they focus on consumers' need and offer a quality product. Why would people spend their money, and what benefit do they get from Starbucks is a analyst study, but a simple experience of going to a store, buying a coffee and having a name on it gives consumer a spark for their day. So that is how the consumer centric market is now transforming to the customized experience. Same goes for Nature Parts Organic. They offer organic products, but with add-on benefit that if your health is not focusing on one of the food pyramid element, then they would customize it or they would offer an alternative. Similarly, 3M car care that is highlighted here. Why 3M came into picture? First, was it quality service? And second, the consumer's need. So it doesn't just take away your car for service. It will first understand what is your experience with the car, what are the glitches you are facing, and how their products could help you reduce those glitches. Nike is one of the other company. Premium sportswear is offered by Nike, and recent campaign of Nike with Tiffany was a change in shift, where Nike has tied up with a huge giant Tiffany, which offers personalized jewelry. So they have targeted particular consumer market, and they focus on not just delivering a high quality footwear, but how they could give a personalized experience to the consumer. These companies, since they are focusing on consumer, they get repetitive feedback and they are able to adapt those changes in their product strategy. MasterCard is one of them. It started giving digital identification globally, and which nowadays has become like a norm. So anyone who needs a digital identification did not think about it few years back, but now with changing times, digital identity has also taken a lot more importance in the consumer market. So overall, in conclusion, I would like to quote this survey done by Covio. They have mentioned in their survey that what and how much is this benefiting the enterprise and the service providers by focusing on the consumer market. First is 63% of businesses saw a revenue rise by being customer centric or by adapting the needs of consumer. 16% ensured that their brand presence is enhanced. They saw larger reachability. As I mentioned, satisfied customer will always share their views and give multiple benefits to their relative people. And 15% met customer service needs. So this graph is not just a plain number, but these are a large revenue generation done or brand presence increased, customer service need met, product development has improvised. So this in turn gives a very much good feedback to the consumer as well as the service provider. And now in the market product strategy, it is an important role that the consumers play, not just in driving the business, but also in becoming loyal consumers and giving you profitable and sustainable business. I hope the session gave you an insight. Anybody who is thinking through a startup, I would say this will give them an opportunity about researching the market. Anybody who is working with customer relation, it will give you an idea about what we should focus on and how we should build the product so that the consumer market is benefited and the product receives a better feedback. I would be happy to answer if there are any question and answer or any discussion. Anybody would like to share their experience about consumer centric market, we can open the floor now. David and Balaji, you can let me know if there are any questions for me. I think I'm done from my end for the topic today. All right, it was great interacting with all of you. I hope my experience or my session today gives an insight and it would be beneficial for all of you. Thank you very much.